Our next deal that we're going to talk about is a direct result of Lavender Haze, which we had talked about in another video. So this project actually came across our desk very recently, and it immediately jumped out at me because of Lavender Haze. It was extremely hairy. It was in a so-so location, but it was a 2-flat HOA, and I think that immediately deters people just because it's a 2-flat HOA. The property is located in University City, which is a suburb of St. Louis. So we had closed on this property the day the article came out on the Wall Street Journal that was stating St. Louis was one of the worst submarkets on planet Earth to invest in. So that was a good start for this project. We loved it. So University City actually, though, is an awesome neighborhood. This particular project is located less than a mile from 3 hospitals. It's across the street from Washington University. So you have academia, you have healthcare. It's down the street from a grocery store. And it was the 2-flat HOA. And it had one unit was vacant, and then one unit had a month-to-month tenant in the property. It was pretty dilapidated. It's no structural rehab necessary, but some cosmetic. But the HOA, I think, was the biggest sticking point. And it also is a creative deal. So let's run through some of those numbers. So it was the 2-flat we talked about, HOA. Purchase price was $360. The subject to creative debt was $240. That's the existing debt. So in another video, we'll break down creative financing, but very high level, subject to and very cursory layman is you are inheriting that mortgage. So we're inheriting $240,000 of the seller's debt. The next piece was there was $50,000 in seller financing as well. Seller financing. So the seller would provide a mortgage to us, the buyer. The subject to debt is $240,000, and that is at 3.19%, and the seller financing is at 0%, which is awesome. So subject to, that is we are taking on those payments on behalf of the seller. We are paying that on behalf of the seller. The seller financing is the relationship between us, the buyer, and the seller, and that's at 0% amortized over X amount of years. So these are our initial terms. We immediately saw this. We thought of Lavender Haze, converted into that single-family home. The rehab of the project was approximately $10,000. Paint, taking down a non-structural wall to convert it back into the single family, and there was a decent amount of exterior work that we had to do. To furnish this under an STR scenario was approximately $15,000. This is a 4-bed, 2-bath as a single family, and it's about 15 grand. And within that, in all of our properties, we try and do a fun game room type of element, whether it's a pinball machine or a pool table or air hockey. We try and do something that sets us apart. Another big piece in our FF&E package was the outdoor fire pit and being able to enjoy University City from an outdoor perspective. 4-bed, 2-bath. University City. The comps, before we get into AirDNA, the comps were showing that it can do around $65,000 as a 4-bed. And anytime you're doing any type of financial analysis, always do it in a range. AirDNA is going to tell you something. Some of these other platforms are going to tell you something. Never has anything ever in the history of time ever worked out where to the penny it was the dollar amount that a platform told you. So always try and underwrite within a 20% range of that number provided. So comps told us 65, Air DNA told us 95 gross. So we're looking at this project at an $85,000 gross revenue. We self-manage, we third-party manage for others as well, but one of your biggest expenses is the management fee. Typically, market rate is 20 to 25%. We charge 15%, so we got 15% in management. And then your next biggest ticket item is property tax. And this project was $2,200 in annual property tax. Good rule of thumb for general back of the napkin math is that your expenses should be between 35 and 45% of your gross. So this project we think should be in the neighborhood, right, of does that meet our 20% gross ROI? Yep, we checked that box. Something else that drew us to this property was from Lavender Haze converting this 2-flat into the single family, but what that would do in the way of sales comps was helped us get us to the finish line. So we looked at the 2-flat sales comps and they were very comparable to our purchase price. But when you convert it back into a single family, sale comps over the past 90 days were 425, 450. So that was something else that made us feel really good about this project. We've had the project for a couple of months. We've already started getting bookings. It's been a very good project for us so far. So it's our first deal in St. Louis. We're bullish on the sub-market. We like coming in when it's at the bottom. So it's been a good deal for us. If you'd like to learn more about more properties, please subscribe. Thank you.